Hello, it's Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a most marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. So today I'm talking about black coaches with white wives and college football. So you may or may not know that the University of Alabama's coach, Nick Saban, has announced his retirement. And that's always a big deal in Alabama. And just listening to what's going on down there, everybody's sad. But all of the suspense was taken out of who the next coach is going to be, because 48 hours after they announced that Nick Saban was retiring, they announced his successor. His name is Kalen DeBoer, and he comes from Washington State, and he's married with 2 daughters. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because a few years ago, before Nick Saban came to Tuscaloosa, there was a big discussion about who the coach was going to be. Now, you know that Alabama football has a lot of black players, and a lot of black players have done really well at the University of Alabama. So these people on ESPN and these other sports platforms were making suggestions about who the new coach should be at Alabama. And naturally, several of them were saying, oh, they should have a black coach. They should get a black coach. They have so many black players there. And people do pay attention to them because a lot of them have been professional football and basketball players. So they know a lot about the game, they think. But anyway, it seemed like they were trying to pressure Alabama into interviewing and hiring a black head football coach. And some of the names that these black sportscasters were throwing around were married to white women. These southern schools have made it clear that they are not going to hire a black man married to a white woman as the head coach of a major college football team, not here in the South. A lot of black men, I'm not saying all, but many, will say that, oh, it's black women, they're just jealous of black women. Well, the reality is, if black women were the only people that were against interracial marriage, it wouldn't be a problem. These people in the South, and really all over the country, have made it clear they don't want that in their culture. Now, that's what they have said. They don't want that in their culture. They don't want that to be the norm. A lot of the culture of these towns is centered around the college football team, because football is big in the South. So they have said they don't want these black coaches with white wives. So anyway, before Nick Saban came to Alabama and they were looking for a coach, Alabama wouldn't even interview any black coaches that had white wives. They did interview one black coach who had played football at Alabama. He was a good coach, but they didn't hire him, but he did get hired at Mississippi State. But what Alabama did was to hire a black head basketball coach married to a black woman with 3 beautiful black children. This time, when Nick Saban decided that he was going to retire, Alabama shut down all possibilities of this discussion because it was not announced ahead of time for black people to get in the mix and start talking about they ought to interview this one and that one, and this is a good coach and that's a good coach. Alabama decided that they were going to cut all of the noise out of it, because Alabama really does not like to have discord with the black community, because they know they need those black players. And in the Tuscaloosa environment, Tuscaloosa is 43% black. And the University of Alabama has a lot of fan support from black people. It has a very large base of white support, but it also has a representative base of black support. So they don't like a lot of racial strife and trouble in Tuscaloosa. Because remember, this is where Governor Wallace stood in the door and tried to keep those black students from enrolling in the University of Alabama. So they tried to keep down any confusion between the University of Alabama and the black community. Now, I want to back this up by what was said between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. We already know that Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless had a bad relationship when they were working together on whatever the show that was that they were working on. On February 17th, 2023, this article says, Skip Bayless claims white owners don't hire black coaches because of their wives. Now see, that takes black women out of the mix. White owners don't hire black coaches because of their wives. So let's just see what the article says. Skip Bayless claims to know why the NFL has a diversity issue when it comes to hiring black head coaches. During Thursday's episode of Undisputed, that was the name of the show he had with Shannon Sharpe, on FS1, the host said he believes white NFL owners don't want to hire black coaches because they don't feel comfortable interacting with their significant others. I have been dumbfounded by it, Bayless told his Undisputed co-host Shannon Sharpe about the NFL's lack of diversity. It has been inexplicable to me, but then in the end, it's really pretty explicable. I'm going to boil it down to these older white owners just aren't that comfortable with a black head coach because they need to interact. They need to go to dinner with the wives of the significants or whatever, and they're just not that comfortable. When they do have an interview, it's going to be a quicker click with a young white hot candidate. So the NFL owners aren't comfortable with black head coaches. That's not surprising. If I'm not mistaken, Shannon Sharpe got mad about that. But the man was just telling the truth as he knows it to be as a white man. And so the way I'm reading it is that the white owner is not so much uncomfortable with the black coach. He's uncomfortable with that young white hot candidate, that white woman. And the black coaches who are able to retain their jobs in the NFL are mostly married to black women. They're married to attractive black women. And Tony Dungy was in the NFL for a long time until he retired. And he was married to a black woman. And he kept the job. And there are one or two others who have either in professional or in college football who have black wives. And their jobs seem to be more secure. But the white people are just telling the truth. They have never been in favor of interracial marriage. And the fact that somehow it got pushed off on black women because a lot of us really don't see how it benefits black people as a group. But it's white people who have always, they're the ones that passed the law against it. They're the ones that made it illegal for black people and white people to get married. And then they're the ones that changed the law. Loving versus Virginia, which was passed, I think, in 1967, said now black people and white people can get married. But if that law gets repealed, overturned, and they decide that black people and white people can't get married again, white people are going to do that, not black women. But okay, but let's see what else Skip Bayless had to say. It's just culture. It's just the way life is, and I don't know how to defeat it because each of these guys is an independent owner in the umbrella of the NFL, and it's hard to legislate you must hire a black coach. You can't unless it's in the man's heart to do the right thing. And every once in a while, you have Steelers owner Art Rooney, the Rooneys in Pittsburgh, who did the right thing. During the show, Bayless brought up an article by Time and an op-ed written by USA Today's Nancy Amore that both highlighted how Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy had yet to secure a head coaching job in the NFL. After mentioning Amar's opinion piece titled, "NFL Owners Don't Want Black and Brown Men as Their Head Coaches," Bayless said that he's been saying the same thing on national TV for the past 15 years. So Skip Bayless is saying that these old white men, these owners of these football teams, don't want to hire black or brown head coaches. And that's what he's been saying for the last 15 years. Bieniemy, who helped lead the Chiefs to a 38-35 win over the Eagles in Super Bowl 2023, has been the talk of the NFL coaching circuit for years. The 53-year-old Bieniemy has transformed the Chiefs' offense and helped develop the two-time Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes since joining head coach Andy Reid's staff in 2018. His success in Kansas City has made him a deserving candidate for a head coaching job, yet he's had unsuccessful attempts at landing one. Now, this is the guy, Eric Bieniemy, and his wife. I don't know what her ethnicity is, but this is what she looks like, and I'm not sure that she would be the holdup for him getting a job, especially if he's as good as they say he is. So who knows what the problem is? But now, that is a problem. Bayless's rant came after Sharp sounded off about the situation of Tuesday's Undisputed, saying Bieniemy has been continuously passed over for head coaching jobs by less qualified candidates. That came on the same day the Arizona Cardinals hired Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon as their new head coach. So it's not hard for a white coach to get a job, whether he's good or not. It is hard for a black coach to get a job, even if he's good. But that's just the reality of the world that we live in. One thing I believe would be very helpful if black people would learn black history, if black parents would teach their children black history, because we're the ones who are expecting the world to change. This is the system that they set up for themselves. We want to be in that system. We have to do it by their rules. So complaining about it, I don't really know where that gets you. If you want to be a football coach, these people have already made it clear to you, I care about who you're married to. White people are making the decision about who they want to coach. And if they say, we don't want you to bring a white woman here, don't bring a white woman, don't marry a white woman and then expect a white man to give you a job as a head football coach. So I don't really feel sorry for these people, to be honest. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.